All right, we're here today with Kara at 7 Victory, and Kara is my friend who is an amazing CrossFitter, but also did the switch to Strongman last year. And what's cool is I've taught you a little bit things about log, and you taught me a lot about split jerk. And I have a ton of Strongman clients who are just getting into split jerk, which it was a way more complex exercise than I even imagined. And then we put a huge log on you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you need to consider. So I thought that I would bring in an expert, Kara, today to help us go through learning the split jerk, especially when it comes to Strongman. But let's just go over the basics, just like you did that one day a year ago when you were like, what are you doing? What do you think is important? Since you switched over to Strongman, what are some important things you think that apply more to this sport rather than CrossFit?
The biggest thing about your split jerk is really going to be your footwork. So if you are used to push jerking or push pressing, you have the dip and the drive down really well. But it's going to be what are your hips doing and what are your feet doing? And then especially when you have the log or even an axle overhead, because the bar is thicker with the axle, and then you have the rad shape of the log, it's going to be balancing and recovering, so you don't ditch whatever you're holding overhead forward or backwards. So we're going to focus on your feet.
And I totally agree, because if you have not mastered the push press, it's going to be hard to go into the split jerk.
Yeah.
So if you're not there yet,
Focus on your dip drive.
Focus on your dip drive first. But yeah, ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
All right.
See.
I climbs the other day. I'm a nervous student, so let's do this.
All right, got our bar set up. First thing I want to see is this bar at shoulder height for you? Let's go ahead and drop it 1. Okay, so just like any press, you want the J hip to be shoulder height. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and get some warm-up reps. I just want you to get 10 empty bar strict press, focusing on pressing up and driving your feet down. There you go. Beautiful. Okay, so you have split jerk before, so you have an idea about what your lead foot is, right? Okay.
Yes.
So if you don't know what your lead foot is, a good test that I'll have people do is if it feels awkward to put either your one foot forward or the other, I'll have people close their eyes and tip forward. And so whichever foot comes out to catch you, that's I'm going to say is going to be your lead foot. So you know what your lead foot is.
Mine's my right foot.
Beautiful. Good. Okay. So before we do anything with the bar, let's talk a little bit about your feet. So with your split jerk, it's not just one foot moving forward or one foot moving backward. It's your feet moving away from each other. So your lead foot's going to go forward and your catch foot's going to go behind you. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to come up onto your toes, and then I want you to think about pushing your feet apart from each other, landing. Good, nice job. And then we're going to practice your recovery. We're going to go front foot back, back foot forward. Beautiful. All right.
Why front foot back first?
Good question. So if I have my weight overhead and I try to bring my back foot forward and I'm not stable, I risk pitching my weight forward.
Okay.
So I want to be stable underneath, and even if it just is a little drag, I'm going to come back, and then I'm able to bring my weight forward without risk of pushing my bar in front of me. All right, let's go ahead and get 2 more with your feet up on your toes. Beautiful. Good. Nice job. 1 more. Good. And I love that your back leg is bent. So we'll talk about that when your bar is overhead, but I love that you have a slight bend in the back of your knee. That's about that. Good. All right, and recover. Good. Nice job. Okay, let's come on over to your barbell. So because you have your push press and your push jerk, I'm not worried about your dip and drive. So we're going to do what I call, or what is called, a tall split jerk. So I want the bar to be about between nose and eyeball height. You're going to come up onto your toes, and I want you to think about pushing yourself underneath the bar as your feet move apart so you catch, locked out, and we're good.
I have a question though, since I already know my split stance.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get into this, how do I know how wide my split should be?
That's a good question. So it really varies based on how comfortable you are. So we don't want to over exaggerate reaching your back foot all the way back and have hyperextension in your back. So a good rule of thumb is we're going to go about a foot or a foot and a half, like your own foot distance. So foot, foot and a half, roughly in the front, and then same for the back. So you want to think about equidistant front to back.
Right.
So if you want to measure that out, you can grab some chalk and put line for your front foot, line for your back foot. And while we're there, you don't want to be on a tightrope. So super narrow. You want to think about train tracks. So from your dip drive stance, your feet should be about hip distance, and you want to keep them in that plane as you're going back. Yeah, good question. All right, go to your bar. Good. We'll go strict press to about eyes or nose. Come up on your toes. Press underneath. Good. Nice. And recover. Beautiful. Come on back down. Let's get 2 more. Good. Nice. I love the sound. Good. Nice. Good hard hit with your feet. Beautiful. Nice job. And roll. Beautiful. Good job.
A+ so far.
A+. Good. So another thing that you can do if you have the ability to set up the rack is do some recoveries, meaning you can set the bar, you can get underneath, set your bar overhead, stand underneath the bar, push up and forward. You can do that with a little bit of a heavier log, so you can get used to the recovery with your feet, or you can do that with an axle bar too.
Right.
But we don't have safety needles that come out.
Sorry. I think that's really a really good drill too, because I have a lot of clients who I think will feel like they need to recover with the back foot. And I know that's an indicator of the weight being unevenly balanced.
Yes.
So if you feel like you need to step up forward here, the weight is probably a little bit too forward. You're putting too much weight into that front leg.
Yes.
So you say like equal.
Yes.
Do you want equal? Do you want 30%, 90, 60%?
You want about equal. You want to think about your weight going straight down. Because if I have more weight in my back foot, there's a good chance that my weight is in front of me.
Right.
Same thing if I have my weight too far forward, then my whole torso is forward, and I'm going to drop it even before I can recover.
Yeah, because I noticed a lot of my clients when we first learn, they'll really like to straighten this back leg.
Yes.
And a lot of weights forward, and then they always want to recover that way. So I'm like, it's not really the recovery that you're doing wrong. It's before that, and if you're doing it correctly with a good balance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm glad you brought up your back leg. Let's go ahead, get into your stance overhead. And I want to look at what happens to the weight when you straighten your back leg. Good. So stay there. Good. That's okay. So here you have your weight totally stacked over your shoulder, your hip, and then right down to the floor.
Okay.
Now, if you straighten this back leg,
All right.
it tips a little bit far forward. So if you had a heavy loaded bar on there with that straight leg, you would risk dumping
Right.
forward.
Okay. Should we get a little side view of that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So even.
So bent, we have bar over shoulder, right over the floor, cutting you in half. If you straighten your leg, you risk pitching forward, which is going to shift your weight forward. And now that weight is in river, and you risk dumping the bar forward.
Yeah, it's a lot harder on my shoulders.
Yes, it is.
I'm doing it's like doing a front raise,
Yeah.
right?
Now imagine
With
a
a
log.
200-pound log.
Right. So at least with the bar, the diameter is different, and you can kind of pull it back. Now with your log, your hands are in a neutral grip,
Yes.
and you have that big log overhead. So if it's not direct over you, you're more likely to dump it forward.
True.
Good. Okay.
Which happens to me a lot.
Yes. So another drill that we can do, because what I see oftentimes is people will only push their back leg back. They say, I'm going to split jerk, and I'm just going to drop here. So another drill that we can do, I'm going to have you grab your bar. I'm going to have you set your back foot to your catch position. And then you're going to dip, and you're going to push your foot forward. Yeah, good. Nice job. Recover, bring your foot back. Good. Bar down, dip. Good. Nice job. Recover. Good. That forces you to recover with your front foot first, too, right?
Right.
Good. Let's get one more. Good. Recover. Beautiful. Nice job. Good. So, because you're experienced with the different kinds of bars, you can feel the difference with the barbell versus the axle.
Yes.
So let's go ahead. I'll grab the axle bar, put
Okay.
that in the rack, and we can talk about why that makes a difference to practice I would recommend starting with a barbell so you can get your footwork down, but then incorporating the barbells that you train with. So that way you can make sure that you're directly underneath, because the diameter of the bar will make a difference.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'll grab the axle.
I think what Kara said about the different barbells is important to get the skill down with the regular barbell instead of just putting, applying it when you're doing the log, because it's going to change the movement a bit.
Yeah. So I would practice barbell first so you can get the footwork down and understand what it's like to dip and drive while moving your feet at the same time, because you have a lot more going on from like just a dip and a press overhead. You have to think about, okay, I'm going to push my feet apart from each other, catch, and then recover. There's 3 extra steps. So learning that and getting comfortable with that with the barbell first, and then incorporating some other bars. Okay, let's go ahead and get your this drill that we just tried. Good, nice. Recover. Good, one more. Good. And let's go ahead and go to your tall jerk. Good, nice job. So with this thicker bar, you have to think about pulling that bar back behind you a little bit. Good, let's go ahead and get one more. Beautiful. Good, nice, Christy. So those are the 2 drills and the recovery that I think will be really beneficial for helping master the footwork for your split jerk, and then also practicing the recovery as well.
Perfect. So I think this video will really help out you guys who are learning the split jerk. Remember, get your footwork down first and the skill, and then we can move on to the bigger bars, which is going to change things a little bit. We will make a video eventually on how that works. Right now, personally, I'm training for the Arnold. I'm having a little bit of issues doing the split jerk with the big log, but first, let's keep it simple and get the split jerk down. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks.